out of the recording.
Thanks, Dan. Oh, gosh. Yeah, so what Elisa and I like to do in the classroom is to model some things that you shouldn't do, kind of as non-examples of pedagogy. That was a perfect example of what you should not do in a classroom.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
did that all the time when we team taught. That's quite the strategy.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Thanks. Okay, so first, and I'm going to share a PowerPoint in just a second, but first I just wanted to bring you to the Poll Everywhere homepage. So this is where everybody will start and log in. I'm try to move my thing here. Log in for an account, and I think I'm already logged in. And I just started searching for how to use this with PowerPoint. And I basically scrolled down to the bottom and looked at these desktop apps. And I was interested in the PowerPoint one. I'll probably use Google Slides because that's kind of my, my go-to tool. But for this purpose, I wanted to look at the PowerPoint app. And
I'm just going to comment real quick.
Yep.
You also don't have to use an app. You can do everything through the website here, but these apps integrate really nicely if you're using one of those presentations.
Yes, yes. So you could just go to the website and put up your poll and have your students access it there. But let's take a look at this. From there, this is where the Poll Everywhere for PowerPoint app is, and I downloaded it and executed the install for my laptop. And I've got a 2-minute video that shows us how to install this add-on, insert polls, and present our polls directly from PowerPoint. So I want to share this video just real quick. 2 minutes, I think.
Welcome to Poll Everywhere. My name is Alec, and today I'm going to show you how to use Poll Everywhere in PowerPoint for Windows. On Windows, Poll Everywhere fits directly into the PowerPoint menu ribbon. Make sure Poll Everywhere is installed on the computer you are presenting from, otherwise your activities will not function. To download Poll Everywhere for PowerPoint, head over to polleverywhere.com/app. Select Windows PowerPoint, then Download. This will download PollEv.exe to your computer. Open PollEv.exe to install Poll Everywhere in PowerPoint. Once that's done, open PowerPoint and log into your Poll Everywhere account. Locate Poll Everywhere in your menu ribbon and use the Insert button to add an activity to your slide deck. You can add an existing activity or create a new one. I'm going to insert an existing activity by clicking this checkbox, followed by Insert. Doing so adds the activity to my slide deck. Now I have a Poll Everywhere activity in PowerPoint. Don't worry about the blue and gray boxes. They are a visual cue that this is a Poll Everywhere slide and will disappear when you start your presentation. I want to present this activity earlier in my presentation, so I'll just click and drag the slide to where I want it. Make sure you click and drag the entire slide, not just the placeholder. With that set, I'm ready to start my presentation and collect responses. When you start your presentation and arrive at a Poll Everywhere activity slide, the activity will activate automatically so the audience can respond. Instructions on how to respond are added here at the top. By default, the audience can visit this website or text this number on their phones. Responses appear live for everyone to see. And that covers the basics of using Poll Everywhere in PowerPoint for Windows. For more tips and inspiration, visit the Poll Everywhere blog at blog.polleverywhere.com.
Okay, so short and sweet, just how to download the app and get it started. So now I'm going to give you guys a chance to think about, do you want to participate through your computer or through a cell phone?
Or both.
Or both.
Both.
And I'm not sure, you know, since you're Zooming, I'm not sure how that's going to interact, but let's just try it and see, you know, so hopefully somebody will use their computer and we can see how a Zoom participant, the challenges that a Zoom participant might encounter. I'm going to pop over to my PowerPoint, and you also can see that, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now I'm going to present it from the beginning. Okay. Everybody say a little prayer. These are just links to the things we just looked at. The homepage for Poll Everywhere, the place to download the PowerPoint app, and that tutorial, that little video tutorial. So John, I'm going to send this to you later so you have those.
Thank you.
Okay, so now here is my first poll question. And you can see if you're going to use your computer, the URL is pollev.com/rlucas. And if you're going to participate on your cell phone, you're going to text rlucas to 37607. Okay, I'm going to use my phone. And I'm going to text. $37607. Oh my gosh, who's that? Give me a second. Gosh. Send. Oh shoot, I misspelled. How are you guys doing?
Okay.
All right. I think I saw Jan join.
I'll mention one thing. I'm using the computer to do this,
Okay.
and when you present your screen on Zoom and someone else is watching, that Zoom window goes to the full screen, and they can't click away to do anything else initially.
Okay.
So students may not know that you can actually get out of that full screen to go to another window to do something else. So that may be something you need to get students familiar with. It's pretty straightforward in Zoom. When your window gets taken over by the presentation, up in the upper right, there's view options, and you just need to choose to exit full screen. And then you can switch to another, to your browser and put in the website. Does that make sense?
It does to me.
Okay, so that may be something, if you're going to use this and students are doing it on a computer, you may need to, the first time,
Right.
be aware of how to get out of the Zoom full screen.
Right. So it's one of those things that you want to train your students to do.
Yeah, but once they've done it once or twice, it should be pretty straightforward.
Okay.
I was
Well,
wondering
I'm going to brag on myself. I'm just now at my poll. So I'm going to choose my answer.
I was wondering if it would be easier to post that link in the chat, and then it could be a live link, and then they could just click it straight from the chat.
This,
Yes.
That's
Yes.
a great idea too.
yes, that is a great idea.
There's
So
my
how-
one for the week. I'm done.
Have you got several polls for us to try? Because I want to try it different ways. Like I just did it on my phone. I want to try, or do we just, you want us to give more answers to this one question?
No, I've got a couple for you, Jan.
How do you know how to
I've
make
got
it a
you.
live link in the chat, Karen?
Yeah, I can't get to the chat. How do I?
For the
Down at
Zoom
the
chat?
bottom of the Zoom window, there are a bunch of options. One of them is chat.
Yeah, but I can't get it to come up because I'm in full screen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mine just opens on the
Well, you're
side.
the host.
Okay, so maybe somebody else can do that.
Karen just
You want
posted
exit
a live
full
link.
screen and then see it?
You want me
Karen,
to-
what's the difference between the way you posted that with and without to make it live?
I don't know how to make it live. Karen might.
I actually typed it into a web browser, and then once it was there, I just copied and pasted and stuck it in.
I wonder if it's the HTTPS that it recognizes.
Okay.
I just opened a browser and typed in pollev.com/rlucas, and it came right up. It
And
knew who I was.
so you're able to navigate between the present, well, I guess you don't need the presentation once you log in on your computer, right? Because you go to the
Well,
presentation or to the quiz or the poll.
I got out of the full screen view in Zoom and then opened a browser window and just went to pollev.com or Lucas.
Okay. Okay, let's try the
Um,
next one.
But
You
I'm
ready?
already logged into my Poll Everywhere account. I don't know if that matters. But so I submitted a response to your poll here,
Uh-huh.
both on my phone, from my phone, and also from the computer. So you got 2 responses from me. Can you
Okay,
see who has provided the responses?
we're gonna try.
Okay.
The correct response, who wants to guess the correct response? It is
Wait,
not,
before we go there, I want to say that I tried Karen's link and it was
Yeah.
super easy. So I submitted by phone and by Karen's link, and I'm not logged in.
okay. Yeah, you don't have to log in. The students won't have to log in or have an account.
Right.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Will that link, like the pollev.com/rlucas, is that going to be the same link throughout the entirety? Is that like always your go-to link? Because if that is the case, then you can just already have like copied and ready to paste
Right.
the
And they'll
live
know,
link.
right. They'll know to always go there, right? So I can,
Right.
I can edit the
It
name of
sh-
my poll every time, but I'll need to deactivate this particular activity or poll so that this doesn't come up for them.
Yeah,
Okay,
the way it works is when you're the host and running the polls, you have an active poll in your account. Whatever active poll is up is what's showing up at pollev.com/rlucas. So you can activate and unactivate polls, and whatever's there, that's what whoever goes to that site, they're going to see whatever poll is active. So yeah, and I think when they're built into the PowerPoint, it'll automatically deactivate the one you move away from and activate the next one you come up to. So it should be the same link the whole way through. And just a quick comment, the difference between my first chat post that was not a live link and then the 2 after that are live links is that HTTPS. If you include that, Zoom recognizes it as a web and automatically creates a link for it. So
so you'll have to include it.
yeah.
Okay, so I've just played around. I don't know, can you all see my settings over here? So I'm in visual settings and I can change from presenting as that original bar chart to a column chart or a donut chart. And it looks like I can play with all kinds of colors and backgrounds. I can change the title, a theme. When I show responses, that's just the blank responses, and then show correct shows the correct answer. So I can toggle over to show the class the correct answer. But I don't see a way, Dan, to see who answered how. Is there a way to see that?
So I believe there is on the website, like when you go to your Poll Everywhere account on the web,
Uh-huh.
I believe you can there because you can download a response file or open up a response
Okay.
file and see everybody there.
So that's in my dashboard.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm less familiar because I haven't tried to do a poll built into PowerPoint yet. So let's just see, go back to those options you had. When you click show responses,
Yeah, that,
it just shows what the potential responses are. Okay.
right.
Do you want to try to jump over to your dashboard quick and see if we can see it there?
Oh my gosh, that's so stressful. Can we do it after we finish this?
Yeah, we can. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We can
Okay.
just try it out after we've done a few more polls here.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to muck this up. I'm on a roll here.
Okay.
Okay, here we go to the next one. Okay, now I noticed on this slide that and I had to rearrange my slides because I don't know if this, the Poll Everywhere link is grayed out. It's very, very light. It's hard for me to see. Is it hard for you as well?
Yeah. Is that part of those visual settings that you were playing around with? Did you change it?
Well, I think it may be the theme of my PowerPoint, you know, like the color
Mm.
theme of my PowerPoint. But when I saw this was the first slide, I thought, oh, they can't read that. I'm gonna have to figure out another way to present that
It-
URL. So
It
I
could,
moved,
it could also be that once you're at that URL, you don't need to
right,
you don't
right.
need
Once
to
you
change
get it-
anything or go anywhere else. So
right,
it may kind of be like, hey, students, you don't need to do this again. If you've already texted R. Lucas to this, then just text your answer again. You don't need
right.
to
Okay,
text R. Lucas to 37607 again.
okay.
So
So
that may be part of what they're doing.
I'm on
So,
phone. Sorry. And I just noticed that on my phone, this new poll automatically comes up and I'm gonna type in my response.
yeah, so I love that. When I went on my computer, it asked me, did I want to turn on notifications? And so as soon as you post a poll, I get this little pop-up down here like my emails, and I just click on it and it opens up, and I don't even have to hardly do anything. It's super easy.
And I tested the link again.
It also looks like
Sorry.
your text when you text join on the on your phone, you stay engaged with this current with her link basically until you type leave, and then you have to leave. Because actually, I had to leave my past poll that I did the other day playing around with it before I joined hers. So you'll stay on there until you actually physically type the leave button in your phone.
Okay. So people are posting and I can scroll down because the window fills up. And I think this is called, what kind of activity is this called, Dan? Do you remember?
There's so many. I don't know that I remember all the names of them. I can
I
look at
I
it
think
quick.
it's open-ended. This is an open-ended activity. And the first one was multiple choice. So
Oh,
John,
Yeah. Open
I also noticed that the link, you can just click on the link, or if you keep it open, it just changes to the new thing. So it's super easy on the computer.
okay, good. And the phone. Yeah, John, I'm looking at the feedback you're getting here. Not a lot of help from these people. Still
Well,
learning.
that's
I got
okay.
nothing. My bag is empty.
You have a bag?
Somebody has a bag. So now let's check out what show responses looks like. Yeah, so that is weird. Visual settings.
Well, since it's open-ended, I guess it's just,
Yeah. So the show responses is for things like multiple choice where you don't want them to see what people are saying yet. You just want them to look at what their choices are.
Okay.
So
Okay.
on an open-ended one, there's no choices for them. So the show responses tab just says, "Hey, join." You know.
yeah.
So in visual settings, I notice I have a text wall, which is what we're doing now, a word cloud, a cluster, or a spotlight.
So you could do a word cloud.
Yeah, you want to see a word cloud?
Sure.
You're gonna have to click on show responses again to show all the student responses rather than, yeah, there we go.
Oh, I did something wrong. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now how do I get that to go away?
Still learning. You can
Yeah.
X out the visual settings up in the upper right or just click on visual.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so here is our word cloud. I do like that. You know, and in word clouds, the words that are used more frequently are bigger than the other words. So still learning must be a theme here.
Yeah.
Let's look at cluster. Okay, so that just pulls those together. And then the fourth option was spotlight. Oh gosh, what is that? Is that a mistake? Is
I don't
yours
know.
vibrating?
It is doing something weird. I think it may be. Yeah, I don't know much about the Spotlight visualization,
well, let's,
what it's trying to do. It's
Yeah,
kind
it
of
doesn't
freaking
seem
out.
very helpful, right? For this,
No.
for this anyway.
No, that induces seizures, I'm pretty sure. Whew. Okay.
I'll try to check that out and see if there's something there we're missing.
Yeah, so that was Spotlight, which was weird. Okay, I'm going to go to the next poll. Are you ready?
No.
Let's stop.
So you're still not able to identify who's providing which responses?
We think we can when we go to my dashboard.
Okay. I'm ready
I was-
now for your next poll.
Yeah, I was
Wait,
afraid.
I have a question. I have a question.
Yeah.
So I get the little notification on my computer, super easy, but my phone, on my text one, I am not getting notifications. So Ryan, did you say on your phone that you get a text automatically for the next response?
No, I did not get a notification either. I just said that once you've logged into her link, basically by texting the Lucas to that number, you're linked to her polls, to Rebecca's polls until you type leave, and then when you type leave, now you can add you can link to anyone else, because I couldn't join this one until I left the one I created yesterday.
So, Becky, can I try to send a second message?
Sure.
A quick comment about what Spotlight is supposed to do.
Did I do?
It is supposed to take a single response, put it on the screen for a certain amount of time, and then switch to another response. And that amount of time is based on the length of the response. So they have an algorithm that says it has this many words. Students can read this many words per second. So we're going to display this response for this many seconds and then rotate through to another one. It looked like for some reason it was not, it was kind of stuck or not quite doing that for you. So, but that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to take each response, put it on the screen for enough time to read it, then switch Spotlight another one.
Okay. I don't know why it's jumping back and forth to this screen.
So on your settings again, you have show responses off, which means it's not showing any of the student responses. When you click on that, then it should show student responses.
Okay. Now we're back. So it looks like it's starting over with the responses, right?
It's kind of loading each one up for us.
So I submitted a second response on my phone, just try to text it in. And then I got another prompt on my computer. So I submitted a third response on my computer. I don't know if they're going to come up. I'm just trying to participate in class.
Here's a quick comment. The free Poll Everywhere accounts have a limit of 40 responses per poll. So, so if you have more than 40 students, that would be problematic. Yeah. Or if you let students respond multiple times to a poll, then you may run into that limit of 40. If you've got a Jan Taylor in your class that just keeps adding more stuff, you might have 30 students, but Jan's done 11 responses. Somebody else doesn't get the respond, kind of thing. You can actually turn that off and allow students only one response. But that's one of the limitations of a free account, is that 40 response limit.
So all my responses showed up, but my question is, why did I get a second prompt to respond to this? Maybe Becky's, you're fooling around and relaunched it or something?
I think I reactivated. I turned off activate and then I turned it back on. So maybe when I activated it the second time, you got a notification.
Yeah, that seems like the most plausible answer there.
Okay.
And then, with that 40 response limit, the Poll Everywhere doesn't know, doesn't get rid of all the responses when you deactivate it or something like that. So let's say you use a poll, last semester, and you come back this semester and you want to use it again. All those responses are still going to be sitting there unless you've cleared them out. And you might run into that cap if you don't clear them out after you're done with them. So, but we want to save them for now so we can look at them on our dashboard and see if we can see who responded what.
Yeah.
So we want to hit a lot of responses and see if we can hit that 40 wall. I mean, how many responses have we already got on this?
We could try.
I mean, we could just, just type in a number, anything, and hit send.
12, 16. Looks like we're around 16 or 18.
So are we trying this?
Yeah, just start sticking something in there. Oh, shoot.
I was
Poll-
able to submit 11 or 12 responses myself, and then
I'm getting-
I got a little icon with a slash, circle, and a
And a
slash.
message
So
that says the poll is full.
yeah.
Okay.
So
So I think I've just got one or two more samples, and then we'll go, we'll look at the PowerPoint and I'll show you how to insert an activity, and then we'll go to the dashboard to see that we can see responses.
So just so I'm clear, Becky, are you sharing, is this in PowerPoint right now, or is this on you're sharing the website?
These are polls that I embedded in a PowerPoint
Okay.
slideshow.
All right.
Okay.
Good work.
I don't know that.
Did y'all hear that? Alexa is talking to me.
No. Talking by Connor Bloom was released on November 11th, 2015.
Stop, Alexa.
By the way,
Okay, so here we go. Next question. I'll try it on my phone.
So this may be a scenario where you actually want to turn off the show responses in your class. You may not want everyone to see and be like, oh, everyone else is picking false, so I'm going to pick false.
Perfect.
So if that's turned off, then students see this, they respond with their answer, and then once you see that there's, all of us have responded, then you can show responses to see the results.
Okay, so has everybody had a chance to respond? I'll pretend that you have, and I'm going to show responses now. So 88% of us say false, and the correct answer is false. Okay, I'm going to move to, I think, the last one.
Becky, real quick question. Is it just when you hover in the upper right that you get the menu to pop up?
That is right.
Okay.
Okay, so, I mean, I could turn off responses for that while you respond. What
But
helped
this
you?
one seems like less like a quiz question and more like, hey, let's see
Yeah, how are you
what
doing?
ideas. So that, that one might be fine to just leave responses up there as they come in.
Okay.
But that's, that's totally up to you to choose as the presenter.
Yeah, so this is a word cloud, so I created it as a word cloud, but I'm assuming if I go to visual settings, I can change it to one of the others. Looks like I can.
Okay, good.
Where's mine?
Where's your what?
Oh, there it is. I see it. My responses. Okay, so that's the word cloud. And again, we can do the same things we've been doing. But now let's end the slideshow.
Did you point out there is a lock feature there as well? So if you want students to stop putting stuff, you can lock it.
Okay.
just for that spot right there. So another nice
Or-
little feature.
I guess if I get mad at you and somebody's inappropriate, I can clear all the responses, right?
Or if you don't need to check them out and from your dashboard and you just kind of want to present this word cloud and say, oh, all right, that's neat. Then when you're done, you can hit clear responses. So next time you don't have to clear them out or worry about that cap.
Yeah, I do like this kind of check-in with students, you know, as a way to engage students. You know, how are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
What have you been up to this week? And, you know, having those kind of opportunities to engage on a personal level with students. Okay, I'm
I
gonna clear.
also think that having their responses show up like this quickly, you know, helps them sort of see each other, and it's so efficient time-wise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
I
so
did sit through the Getting Started webinar that's offered by PollEv, and this was actually one of their recommendations, is to start every session with that kind of word cloud, open-ended, how you doing, you know, kind of question.
yeah,
Particularly if every student is attending online.
yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna come out of there. And I know in the video they talked about Poll Everywhere app embeds in the PowerPoint slideshow tool. And so
Right.
that's up here,
Right.
Poll Everywhere. So when I go to Poll Everywhere, I can insert a new activity. And this takes me over to Poll Everywhere. And I can choose among these different categories. And these are kind of preset categories that I can choose and then edit. So if I wanted to choose, I had a small discussion. Or a brainstorming session, just throw that out there. So my activity is ready. Now I'm going to edit it. And in my editing window, I can project should be complete. Next. Or I could say, what tech tool should we explore next? And I could, you know, offer up Poll Everywhere, Kahoot, Pear Deck,
So creative.
Nearpod,
Oh, yeah, Nearpod's good.
Socratic. I mean, there's just tons of these kinds of tools that I could have small groups of students explore each one of these tools and then report back to the class and do a demo, which is what I often do in the tech class. But I'm going to save. Oh, let me change this. What tech tool should we explore next? Save. Let's see what it looks like. I'm going to insert. I'll close it off to take a look at it. So now here is that slide. And if I go back to slideshow from the current slide, I can view what that looks like. And I don't know if you remember from the video, in my, I'll get out of here. In my slideshow view, these little checkerboards tell me that this is a Poll Everywhere activity. So those are, but this slide is not. This slide is, and all the others are. But that's where I get my activities. I go to Poll Everywhere. I create a new activity. And then I can choose and explore these options, and then I can edit those. So that's something you would want to play around with and kind of just explore and get familiar with, so you can choose the best poll styles.
So now to make it live, what do you do? Like if you want to send that out to us right now?
It's already live.
Yeah, you're still in my poll.
Answer it.
If I go back to the
It
slideshow.
is, it's alive. Yeah. When she went to the slideshow, it started the poll.
Okay. So let me ask you guys a question. And I'm probably not going to articulate it well, but let's say you wanted to use this at the beginning of every class. You want to pre-plan it out. You want to do a poll when they come in, to use twofold, maybe to check attendance and to do a check for understanding, just a quick check for understanding, but you want to plan it out the whole semester. So you want to come up with all of your questions, all of your polls. Can you do that? And then every day when they come in, they just go to the poll and answer the question, and you don't have to do it, as you're going. And can you save all of those responses on your dashboard?
Yes.
So that you can, yes to all that?
Well, yes to the last question. Let's move over to the dashboard now. Are you comfortable with that? I think you are. Okay, so now, how do I get to the dashboard? Oh, I know.
I'm not sure if you can get there through PowerPoint. I think you need to go
Right, I have to log
to the website.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to go back to the website. I'm logged in. So my polls, I think. Okay. So these are the polls, and okay, so it looks like these are the questions. Well, I don't know. What is this?
Becky, you're not screen sharing.
I'm not?
Uh-uh.
You think I should?
Oh, well, I thought we were going to be looking at your dashboard or something. I just wanted you to, maybe you don't intend to.
Well, I was. Okay, here's where I was. So, yeah, and I thought I talked y'all through that. So I went back to Poll Everywhere, my homepage, didn't I? No.
Yeah, that's your,
Yeah,
that's where you wanted to be.
Yes, but I want to show how I got there. So on my homepage, after I've logged in, I've got a place for my polls, and that takes me to my dashboard. So I'm not as familiar with this, but I can see the questions that I asked you guys are buried in this list of activities.
So it creates groups of activities for you to help kind of organize them, so that you can see that new group button. You can create a group and put activities into a group. So things, and the default, it kind of just throws them in a default group. So that's something that you can go in and tweak how you organize those.
Okay, so now I'm in this one question where we maxed it out. Oh, what's this export thing? Export. Okay, so here are the individual responses.
So here you can see the screen name.
Yeah.
If they texted in responses, what you see is their phone number they're texting from.
Okay.
If they use the computer, you can see the screen name that they typed in when they first started up. So you can see Ryan M responded, Brian Coker responded.
Yeah, who's Brian Coker?
That was me.
Dan?
You can change your screen name to anything you want. So that was part of why I changed it, was just to show like the students may or may not leave their name as their actual name.
Right.
They can type in whatever they want. So we've got RL, which presumably is you, Becky.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, if students are texting in, you'll need to know what their text number is to be able to identify them. If they're using a computer, they may or may not use their name. You could probably ask them, please use your name so I know who you are when I look at results. But you know, if you're trying to use this as some kind of graded assessment or something, there's a lot of ways around students
Yeah.
letting you know exactly who they are.
So let's take a look at,
With the, so just a quick comment, with the paid account, you can have polls that only registered users are allowed to respond to, and you can have students register, and there's a lot more
Control.
there's a lot less opportunity for them to try to pretend like they're someone else. They can register, you can see which students are registered, you can know who their names are, and then they have to log in and be a registered student to respond to the poll, and then you'll kind of know like, oh, that really was that student who provided that response. With the free account, it's a lot more like they can be more anonymous or even claim they're someone else.
okay, so this was where we had a correct answer. 14 responses. The correct answer was F. So 5 people had a correct answer. So then I sorted this by correct answer. And there's a lot of no's, so I can see that Jan and John and Karen and Rayanne and Brian Coker and Ryan need to work on this skill. And then these 5 people had correct answers.
So I have a comment about when you give a letter as the option. Did the first time I answered, I'm on my phone, I'm like, oh, it's F, and I type in F. And of course, that's not a response that they recognize. So that was just a funny thing, that happened for me on my first response. I had to submit again.
Right. So a better way to maybe phrase the response choices is the middle initial is F, the middle initial is M, so that they don't confuse those letter responses with the actual response.
Yeah, because by default, Poll Everywhere it uses ABC as the multiple choice.
Right.
options.
And if C was really response A, that might be confusing. Okay, and so I guess that I could export this out to a spreadsheet. Let me see what show full report looks like.
That's another paid feature.
Okay, so no go there.
So yeah, you
Gotta upgrade for that.
and in
Okay.
general, you can see on the dashboard up at the top, there are certain things with diamonds next to them. That's those are paid features.
Teams, reports, and participants. I'm just going to check to see the cost. So this could be a course fee. You could have, students eat this cost at $14 a year. That could come out of financial aid. For an instructor, it's $350 a semester.
So Geraldine's sending in a grant on Friday. Do you guys think that, so it's for COVID related expenses? Do you think that registering every student in Poll Everywhere is something that, do you think faculty are across campus are going to use it or not? I don't know how much what's that?
Yeah,
I think it's powerful.
we'd have to get, what would that be? I'm just looking at the department wide. I don't know how they decide if everybody's in a department or not, but
I bet these costs are determined based on number of users. That's why you've got to contact us.
yeah.
And they'll work with you to create a package.
But if you don't have a textbook, asking a student to pay $14 for a course fee doesn't seem that outrageous.
Right.
I agree.
It
Okay,
does seem that the per student fee, though, limit still has significant limits on what you can do in terms of the responses
Yeah.
and user. It looks like, I don't know what 10 users mean. Mine says there's 10 users. Is that only 10 people, 10 students can be in each poll? I'm not sure. But the responses are per student. So each student gets one response, I believe. So you have 12 students, I guess, I don't know. Yeah. So I think there's some limitations that the student pays would has as well.
Yeah, I haven't looked into the pricing stuff really. But yeah, it looks like with the student paying model, you basically only get the student registration, that piece that makes them register, so you can kind of verify who they are. I think the limit of 10 is presenter licenses, concurrent presenters. So
what does that mean? That only 10 of us could be using it?
well, I think you can share a poll. It says each presenter on the same account has an individual login. Presenters can present activities simultaneously. So if you decided like in your department, we're all going to use this and we'll all just share a pool of polls or something like that, I think you might run into limits there.
like for a core class, maybe you have a core set of polls.
But I don't think we're at that point where that would hamper us really in any way.
So some of us have an 11 o'clock Zoom meeting that we're going to have to scoot to. John, was this helpful for you?
Very, very helpful.
Awesome.
For me.
Anybody want to get together again and go away and play with this for a bit and then come back and have another discussion?
Sure.
Okay, so John, you want to lead that session?
No.
Well, why don't you create a slideshow with some relevant polls in it for us? And then maybe just make note of whatever challenges or questions you have as you're creating it.
Yep.
And the rest of us who are going to join you in the next session will commit to trying to learn more than we know today.
Okay.
I think it would be super helpful, for John, for you to run a poll and kind of see it from your side and have a few people who can respond, at the time as well. There's also just a quick comment there. There are a ton of different kinds of polls, and we didn't really have time to get into all those, but it's well worth going on and just playing around with, I can have them point to a spot on a map, or this kind of poll or that kind of poll. There's like a lot of different kinds. So it's well worth diving in and checking out some of the different options. That's one thing they expanded a lot since I had used it last. And there's some really neat kinds of interactions you can generate.
And we could supply our own images too, right, Dan?
I think so, yeah. So I think you can upload an image and then put that on the screen and have students pick a spot on that image. So if you're, teaching geography or anatomy and physiology, or anything where you got some visual component, that could be really nice. But there's lots of stuff too. That last one you did, Becky, was pretty neat. Students can kind of rank stuff and you can see what comes out on top, and there's just a lot of different stuff you can do.
Okay. So John, you get back to me about a time that works, and then I'll reach out to these people. I'll coordinate the meeting and the session if you'll kind of run it for us.
Okay.
All right. Thanks so much. I'm glad you pushed us to do this.
Oh, well, it wasn't my intention. I was just trying to address my ignorance. So.
Karen, did you have a question? Karen, were you going to say something?
I did have a quick question. One thing that I've just been playing with, and if everybody would try it, when you click on your picture, if you're in gallery mode, up in the top right corner is 3 little dots. If you click on that, you can rename who you are. I would like everybody to rename yourself and just put the number 1 and then click OK.
Just the one?
Just one. You can see how mine looks, just one.
Okay.
Say again, where am I clicking?